Hello and welcome to not the Hall of Fame,
Easily confused.
but it's the Sam's on Wrestling Awards for 2024. Thank you for joining us on our week of ending 2024. It's December 30th for us. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't seen any of our videos from the entire week, we've done best of AEW, best of WWE. We've done the worst of wrestling. We've also done a nice Christmas special and other things. Please watch it. There'll be a playlist at the end. It's also just our end of year 2024 playlist. But we're here looking at awards. We've got about 20 awards. And
Yes.
we're going to have the conversation on who will give the awards because we have not decided who's going to win each one. We've got a nomination each. I've actually got a few people. I've got a list of people who could win the award. Something you've just got your list of who you think should win.
Mainly, yes.
And then we'll have a chat about it. So before we get started on the awards for wrestling, Sam's on Wrestling Awards for 2024. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please give us who you would have win each individual award, please. We really want to know from you. We want to know if you agree with us. Let's find out. So we're going to start with the first award, Sam, which is the best overall wrestler. So this is gimmick, promo, in-ring work from the entire year. So the nominations I actually have is I've got Swerve and Hangman. AEW pretty much built a lot of this year. They've been unbelievable. We've got Will Ospreay, who's having probably the best year of his career, particularly from a promo standpoint for him. Got Dominic Mysterio, I think, should also be acknowledged
Been great.
for how good he has actually been. Probably one of the best heels. And we have Drew McIntyre and CM Punk should also be thrown in there. And Cody Rhodes. These are all the nominations of people I think who are up for the best overall wrestler. Sam, who would you like to put forward for the best overall wrestler of 2024?
I have one nominee, I have one winner, and that is Drew McIntyre.
And I have also
yours?
selected Drew
That's very
McIntyre. We don't need to talk about it that much then. So we have decided, we want to just give a little reason. This is the best year of his career. Him being heel, unbelievable.
I wanted him to turn heel for a while, and my word, it's some of the best heel work I've seen. He's got the best out of Punk. He has been one of the best things on the show, and he had an injury for a lot of it, and his matches are unbelievable caliber. And you know what? He's done a lot. He's had to, not quite win at Mania and get humiliated, and he's gone for
and
all of it.
cashing the money in the
cash
bank.
and everything, and he has sold.
Not winning at Clash.
He has sold everything that Punk has done to him fantastically well. And his promos, I think he's been the best promo this year.
Yeah.
I think he's been magnificent. He deserves it all.
There's been a lot of unbelievable promo people work this year, and Drew's promos have been world class. It really has. It's really hard for me to go against. The person I had really close was Hangman Page. I thought Hangman Page has had an unbelievable year. I'd actually argue he's had a very similar year to Drew. Actually, they've actually kind of acted very similarly. But I think in the grand scheme of things, for the fact that he kept a 9-month rivalry going that ended in one of the best matches of the year, best male wrestler of the year, is going to go to Drew McIntyre. We're now going to look at the best female wrestler of the year. I have the nominations that I've got in from here. We have Toni Storm for her work throughout the course of the pretty much first 8 months of AEW. We've got Athena from Ring of Honor. Still undefeated, still the champion, unbelievably. She literally is why she's not on AEW TV. I still don't know. She's carrying Ring of Honor on her back. It is unbelievable how good she has been. Please put her on TV, Tony. What's wrong with you? We have Rhea. We've got Liv, obviously, as our mainstays. I think Chelsea Green needs to also be mentioned here as one of the best female characters in particular. And we've also got Io Sky, who has gone from strength to strength every single time she gets in the ring, and her character work has just got so much better. So, Sam, what is the nomination for you?
I've gone with Rhea. I've really enjoyed it. I struggled with this one because I think you make a very good point about Toni Storm. I just don't watch enough of AEW.
And Toni Storm is my nomination for the best female work of the year. I think her character is one of the best characters, full stop, that there has been in wrestling this year. And her in-ring work stuff has been very good. So much so that she was enough to get Mariah May over as a big heel to be a champion herself.
Yeah.
And I think Rhea had a better last year than she's had 2024.
Yeah, I could have gone Io Sky, I could have gone Chelsea Green, but I think I'm not going to argue with Toni Storm.
Yeah, I think Toni Storm. I think it's safe to say I think Toni Storm generally has had an unbelievable year. I get why you would nominate Rhea. She was my second, but I think the injury didn't help, and I think this rivalry with Liv was good, and it's just getting a bit long, and I think it's starting to hurt her. I also think Rhea's being booked a bit too strong. I think people have
Yes.
over-criticised this online. They're going, she's coming in and everyone's running away from her, and I'm like, you would have hated Stone
That's what
Cold
The
in the
Undertaker
you would have
did,
hated Stone Cold in the Attitude Era, then, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But I do think booked maybe a little bit too strong in those cases.
Yeah,
but I think
I don't criticise
Yeah.
Rhea for that.
no, I don't still.
Yeah.
But I think it's safe to say that the best female of the year is by far Toni Storm. So we're going to have the best female wrestler of the year overall is going to Toni Storm. We now move into the hardest category to pick a winner. And this is the tag team wrestling category. Who's been the best tag team? The nominations that I have given out, we've got Jade and Bianca. I think have been a very good tag team and have pretty much held the women's division on their own. We've got the Young Bucks, who've probably had a very decent heel run. I actually think it's one of probably their better AEW years, personally, from a character standpoint. We've got the Outrunners, the oldest people in wrestling. Love them, even though they're the youngest people in wrestling. The New Day, for their work, particularly in the back end of the year. And the Motor City Machine Guns, finally making it to WWE, winning the tag titles straight away. Sam, what is the nomination you've gone with?
I went with Motor City Machine Guns because they've come on and immediately won the WWE tag titles.
This really hurts me because they're my favourite tag team.
I love it. I think they're awesome.
No, you have no idea. You've
Breathe new fresh air.
Go
to the
watch them in
division.
2006. You'll realise how good they are, but they're not my nomination.
What have you gone
Because
with?
I hate this year. I think this year's been awful. My
Yeah.
nominations are the Outrunners. I think
Just for lols.
they are so funny. They are so entertaining every time they're on AEW, and they are the most over tag team right now on TV. Hands down.
Yeah.
There's no tag team right now that's more over than them. They've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing. But quite frankly, I find it really difficult to not have them. Motor City Machine Guns, only the back end of this year. This is mainly WWE and AEW we're talking in here, so there's not much more we can talk about because we haven't watched any of their TNA run and all that stuff that they did beforehand. So do you think they've had it for the course of the entire year? Even though I think they have breathed some life into the SmackDown division, have they deserved it?
They've not done it for the entire year, but it's because the options were so few.
No, yeah.
I just thought
it's a bad
I
one.
liked them.
Yeah, should we split the difference then? How,
One from each team.
No, I was thinking, how about, Jade and Bianca, actually, being actually one of the most solid tag teams, putting on decent matches, Jade improving. And they arguably, they may have actually been one of the best tag teams from a consistency standpoint for the course of the entire year.
I can go with this.
Yeah, I think maybe we might have to, because I've got Outrunners for the lols. You've got Motor City Machine Guns, who haven't done enough for me, even though they're my favourite tag team. I want them to win. You said that, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about, this is the whole point, I'll give you some nominations, and maybe the best tag team generally of the year. New Day, if they'd have done their things earlier, I think would have won it.
Yes.
Yeah, they're phenomenal work. Let's go with it. Why not? Our tag team of the year, this reward will be so much better next year, I think. I'm hoping, touch wood. We're going to go with Jade and Bianca as the tag team of the year. Pure in-ring work now. This is male, female, whatever. Who has been the best in-ring wrestler of the year? I've got a few nominations here. It's just in-ring, nothing else. I've got Chad Gable. I've got Gunther. I've got Zack Sabre Jr., who turned up and all in, so he counts. And I've got Will Ospreay on my nominations. Who is your nomination for best wrestler?
Hear me out, my son, because
Yeah.
I'm going to contradict myself because I'm quite nitpicky about a certain thing that this man does. However, I've actually gone with Cody Rhodes.
He has put on great matches all
think
year.
It's very easy because he's the champion to just discount what he's doing. I think the fact that he's been able to not have, what happens when it happened kind of to an extent with Brian a little bit, and then he got injured. To become the champion as the babyface, it's very easy for then the crowd to suddenly just turn on it. And they haven't the entire year, really.
No,
in the grand scheme of things.
there has been a few people that have not liked the reign, but I think they're confusing with the fact that they've just watched Roman Reigns' reign.
Yes.
One of the greatest reigns of all time. Anything was going to be a step down.
Exactly. I think he's done a really good job with this reign, had loads of belters of matches. I think it doesn't get recognised because he's the champion now and we're not really invested in his story. I think he's done amazing in ring work. I think he's done a lot of good to that title.
I agree.
With the matches that he's had. I would say Cody for that reason, because I don't think he gets appreciated because he's now the champion.
Do you know what, Sam? I will let you allow put your foot down later on. If you have a thing that you decide, but I'm going to put my foot down. Because I think there is only one person who can win in-ring wrestler of the year, and that's Will Ospreay.
Okay.
Because I think the man, as much as I don't like a lot of the selling problems, I think he's put on consistently some of the greatest matches. A lot of them are a bit samey. You kind of might forget about them, a few of them, but that's because there are so many. And I wish he'd individualise some of them, but I think that's a criticism potentially for later on if he keeps doing the same thing. But for now, I think generally he has put on consistently the best in-ring work of the year.
I'm not going to argue. Mine are very WWE heavy, not because I'm particularly biased. I am kind of biased in a way. It's what I watch.
You are the WWE correspondent of the two.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. I'm here for the AEW correspondent.
I watch WWE more so I can judge that more, not just because I want to.
You remember that match with MJF at All In? It
was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Brilliant.
And I actually think it was better than any match Cody has actually had this year. Personally.
I can argue that, yeah.
So I think I'm going to put my foot down. Because this is not brackets, there's no vetoes or anything like that. And I'll let you put your foot down later. We're going with, the best in-ring wrestler of the year is Will Ospreay. Most improved. I think this is a hotly contested category, actually.
I've got one winner.
I've got 6 people I've written down as nominations.
There's a lot of people you can say it about.
And I think we might have the same winner, but I'll put out the people who are the most improved. I'm going to go, first of all, Nia Jax, who actually was not my nominated winner, but I think she's had an unbelievable year. And I think if you compare her to where she was beforehand, is one of the most improved wrestlers and deserves to be acknowledged. Yes, she had a bad War Games, but I think she's had a great year. Maxine Dupree. Literally, physically, maybe one of the most improved. Because where she was there to where she is now is a completely different ballgame. I'm impressed. And do you know what? It's weird to watch somebody live improve, because that's kind of the gimmick, really. I actually wish they went for it a bit more. They've kind of forgotten about it. Like the whole of Alpha Academy. Hangman Adam Page. I think he's improved no end in a different gimmick, and he's shown what he can do. And I think this is improvement rather than, oh no, I've got this in the locker. This is I have improved to become this. I really think that. Damian Priest. I had him as mid-card. And I told you, he's a mid-carder. He is not main event. And he has proven to me that he is a mid-card talent. And that's through improvement of his promo work.
Main event talent.
Main event talent. What did I say? Mid-card talent. That's improvement in his promo work in particular. But his in-ring work's been really entertaining. I don't know how to say this guy's name. The guy who...
Testosterone.
Yeah, that guy. And the guy who now is the commentator of Raw. Testosterone, I think his last name is. Joe Testosterone. Oh my God, Sam, I know you haven't been watching much Raw, you've been watching clips. His commentary has been excellent. It's just got better and better and better. At first he didn't get it, sounds very sportsy, sounds fake. He's actually really good. And I don't know what's going to happen come after Netflix starts, but I generally think he really has been brilliant. And I'm very impressed with how well he's done. But I think we probably both have the same answer here. That the most improved wrestler of 2024, Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
You
can say Jey Uso's nominated.
Jey Uso, I nearly had, but I agreed.
Bronson. And I would have argued with you to the death.
Yeah, I thought he was nowhere. Yeah. And now I look at him and go, I'm happy for you to be in the main event.
Oh, 100%.
He can talk as well.
Yeah.
He can actually talk.
He's amazing. He's one of my favourites. And if you'd have told me 12 months ago, Bronson Reed, he was just one of those people who just get to the end of Battle Royals for no reason. Get Bronson Reed out so he can get the actual people.
Actually, no, he won the Andre.
No, he did. But I'm thinking of one for you, maybe last year that Seth won or something. Yeah. But Bronson Reed is one of my favourite things in wrestling.
It's unbelievable how good he's been.
Can't believe it.
I'm gutted he's got a bit injured, actually. I hope he comes back for WrestleMania. I hope he is fit enough for that one. But his in-ring work's good. He moves. He can move. And what helps an improved worker as well? Is he the most improved? Arguably not. But he's been booked to show that improvement at the very least. And booking helps for an improvement. But he's still had to do it. He still had to show that he can do it. And everything he does gets better and better and better. And his matches have got better.
It's that psychology, because he did as we were talking about in the previous video, the tsunami on the fly, the 7, he was supposed to be 3. It's that listening to the crowd that you can't really teach that he's got. I just think he's wonderful.
I would go, most improved. Bronson Reed, we're going to go. So Bronson Reed has won our most improved wrestler. Underrated, I think this has also got a wide range of lists here. I'll read off my list. I've got the Outrunners again. I think they're underrated. I think people realise how good they are, and I don't think AEW realise how much they could just put the titles on them and they would have a great run. Chad Gable. Clearly, every year he's going to get given the underrated until someone tries it. Dragon Lee doesn't just do flips for no reason, I don't think, a lot of the time, and he can do some unbelievable moves, and I don't think Triple H has really given him the opportunity. He even got taken out of the WrestleMania 40 match, and then they didn't really do anything with. Davenport. I love this woman. I don't know why Blair Davenport. I don't know why she's not been pushed, because I've watched her live for WCPW. I watched her go through thumbtacks. This woman, I would have her win an iSeries US title this year. I really would. They've just not put her on SmackDown. They really don't realise how good she is. Joe Hendry, I've got on here because everyone knows the gimmick, and I don't think people have realised how good in ring Joe Hendry actually is. He is unbelievable in the ring. But my nomination, Sam, I'm going with Pete Dunne.
Okay.
That's my nomination because I don't think I've ever been bored watching a Pete Dunne match. And I think his promo work's getting good, and I don't think Triple H, he's used him, but he's not pushed him. He's now in a rivalry with R-Truth, still referring to the Butch thing, let it go. You know, Sheamus, he lost to Sheamus, and it's just like, this guy could easily be, again, a main eventer, or at least the just below hand. And I'm a bit disappointed that he hasn't been given that opportunity. There's so many people in the opportunity. So I've gone with Pete Dunne. What is your nomination for most underrated?
I've actually gone, and hear me out here, I've gone The Miz. Not because I think people think he's not very good. I think people underrate his work this year.
Oh, he's had a good...
Because he when you look at what he's done with the Final Testament, I think to go into that storyline, he's really improved.
Well, the Final Testament were nowhere.
Exactly.
And he's improved. He could have been put on the underrated as well, actually. Karrion Kross, fair play to Karrion Kross. I thought he was nothing. I didn't care for him. And the last few months, give him promo time. He can cut a promo. I still don't think he can work very well. I still think his in-ring works bleh. But he can cut a promo.
Yeah.
He can cut a promo, and The Miz has helped that, yeah.
I think The Miz to just... He's kind of just that... He just help as a storyline randomly. You can put him anywhere and it'll work. And I think people don't really look at The Miz's work this year and go, actually, fair play, like that's something very different. He bounced off R-Truth really well. Really, really well.
Yeah.
I think
it went on too long.
Of course it went on too long.
Yeah.
But I think The Miz still isn't quite getting the props he deserves. I love The Miz.
But is he the most underrated of 2024? He didn't even make my nomination, so.
No, it surprised me, but I get it. I suppose these are the wrestlers you picked are ones that are more on the fringes that I don't watch as much. So that's part me. That's just I'm going off of what I've seen.
So I'm nominating Pete Dunne because I think Pete Dunne's the most underrated out of everyone.
I can give you Pete Dunne.
I think generally Pete Dunne could be something. I would give him the IC title next. He'd be who I'd have as the IC title next. I actually think he'd be a great person to beat Breaker, but I hope they go for Sheamus. I'd have him be the one to take it off Sheamus. That would be my booking, and then have him just kill people for 6 months. So we're going to go with the most underrated wrestler of 2024 is Butch. Or Pete Dunne. We're now looking at the most overrated wrestler of 2024, and I have 4 nominations, and they're all from AEW, which is a bit awkward. Makes it look like I'm, kind of...
Mine might be from AEW.
Yeah, well, let me talk about the ones. We've got Chris Jericho. Yeah. We have, well, for obvious reasons, the learning tree is not good, and it just won't leave. We have Ricochet. I really think Ricochet is one of the most overrated wrestlers. I think he's one of the greatest athletes in wrestling history. I will hold that down. I think he's one of the greatest athletes. I don't think he puts the match together correctly. And he lost to Shelton Benjamin by a clothesline. We talk about jumping tombstones.
I'm on board with that, weirdly.
Shelton clotheslined him, and that was the end of the match.
Fantastic.
And it was an important match as well.
Was it?
We've also got the Young Bucks, but I think they're going to be on every overrated list. And we have Mercedes Moné. Sam, my nomination for 2024's most overrated wrestler is Mercedes Moné.
It's fair. I went with the Young Bucks because you know what? I couldn't really think of someone that much, and I just went, well, the Young Bucks to me just are massively overrated.
The generic answer.
The go-to. You think overrated, you think the Young Bucks. I get what you're saying.
They've had a solid year, the Young Bucks, in comparison to the year before where they were so overrated.
Yes. But what I will say about Mercedes Moné is, again, I don't think she's being used properly.
No, I don't think she's being used properly, personally.
But, and I think this is the problem as well. I'm not that big on the social media side of things, so I'm not seeing how people in general are rating people.
Well, I'll see it this way. This is why she's overrated. She's on every single show. She gets promo time every time. She has long matches. By the way, this is a thing I've only... her match with Chris Statlander, which was great, was the first match in AEW history, not this year, not in a pay-per-view, history to go over 20 minutes. First women's match over 20 minutes. First women's match. They had never in their entire history. That's how bad they booked the AEW women's division. Even though they've got a good women's division, first time they went over 20 minutes.
Blimey.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
Considering how long the other matches are.
Exactly. I think she's overrated by the fact that literally there's a video of her coming out to the CEO thing and the crowd are silent.
But then I would go,
don't care.
Then I would go, well, is she overrated? Because people aren't really...
Yeah, but she's overrated.
Is it more social media?
No, she's overrated by the people
By the
pushing
bookers,
her and all that lot. You're pushing me down her throat, down my throat, and she needs something. There needs to be a change somewhere because I struggle to watch her. I really do struggle because I was really happy for her to come back. And I thought AEW was the right place for her. I actually thought she would be better there than she would be in WWE. And you're right, they've used her so badly. And I don't think she's helped herself. And I don't think she is helping herself. So I've got her as the most overrated. Who would you go with the most overrated then? Monet or Young Bucks?
I would go Monet. You've convinced me.
All right, there you go. I'm keep winning every argument today. The most overrated wrestler of 2024, and I hope she turns it around next year and proves her worth. I think she started with the Chris Statlander match about a month ago, which was brilliant and fantastic. So let's hope that it's a start of something, and we get to see the one from like early NXT or the one from Lockdown. Where she and Bailey just held down the women's division. Fantastic. They were phenomenal. So we're going to go with the most overrated wrestler of 2024 is Mercedes Moné. We're now looking at the best gimmick of 2024. I only have 3 nominations here. We've got the Wyatt 6 gimmick, the whole characterization, every single one of them together. We've also got Joe Hendry, just by constantly coming up with songs and all that jazz. And we've also got Tony Storm again with the Limitless. That's not what I wanted to say. Timeless. That's Keith Lee. He's returned. The Timeless Tony Storm. Sam, who have you gone for the nominations for gimmick?
I went specifically Uncle Howdy.
So you've got
I would say Wyatt's, yeah.
And do you know what I think they've had? I initially thought Joe Hendry actually should win this, but in the grand scheme of things, the Wyatt 6 is probably the best gimmick of the year. Tony's kind of had a little bit from the year before, and it ended in August, and she might come back and do something new. She's retired. They're doing a show in Australia. She hasn't retired, which has already moved from it's not in a stadium anymore.
Oh, they're doing the WrestleMania 7 treatment?
Yeah, they're doing the WrestleMania 7 treatment. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's safe. We don't have to talk about that much because it's, it's a really interesting gimmick. It's essentially a Bray Wyatt gimmick, but the other people is what makes it different to what Bray Wyatt was doing. And I like it. And I think Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy's been brilliant because I hated the Uncle Howdy gimmick when it was with Bray Wyatt. It was awful. It was terrible. But it now works really, really well. So I think we're safe to say that the best gimmick of 2024 is going to the Wyatt 6. Match of the year. This is difficult because I've got a list of matches here and I've already cut it down. Would you like me to read off my list of matches, Sam?
Go for it. I've got one.
We've got Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles in the I Quit match. We've got Ospreay, Danielson. We've got the WrestleMania Tag Team match. We've got the WrestleMania Main Event match. We've got Ospreay versus Pac. We've got the Casino Gauntlet match from All In. We've got Drew, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell. That is a lot of amazing matches. We generally could have done a top 10 of matches of 2024, and I nearly did book it as a video. Sam, what have you picked? I'm going to guess it's Drew and Punk Hell in a Cell.
It is Drew Punk Hell in a Cell. I just think I've not watched a match like that probably in years. Where I've got
it's the best Hell in a Cell match for so long.
Yonks.
I don't know the last time I would argue that it was a good Hell in a Cell match.
And when you have the rivalry building up to it as well, that was so perfect, which I think we'll get onto quite soon.
Yes, of course.
It was so perfect as a rivalry by the wristband. And
the wristband just kept
sort of getting.
They should have got rid of it when it was the end of one of the. I think when CM Punk got it back at the end of that pay-per-view, and then they just kept referencing it.
But, however, this match was special to me. I loved it, and I may have to put my foot down if you haven't voted it.
Do you know what? It hasn't actually won mine, but I'm allowing it to win. But can I just say the one that I've actually voted for me, and this really is personally, so I'm being a bit selfish and biased here.
Is it?
I've got the Casino Gauntlet All-In match.
Yeah.
It's the most fun I've had watching a match for years.
Yeah.
It literally is a genius way of booking a Royal Rumble match. And the AEW should have made it their match. That should be a pay-per-view based around it. And they shouldn't do it 17 times a year. They did a tag team 1 week later. I can't believe that. But the idea that it can win any time, so there might be people in the back. And you could record people in the back, not knowing if they're going to come out yet, whatever. Am I going to get in the match? So the match might finish. I think it's frigging great. And the amount of pops we did, there was more pops in that than there have been in Royal Rumble matches. And it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It's the most fun I've ever had watching wrestling live. I don't know what it was like on camera because we were there, but I loved every second of that. And I really did think it was match of the year. However, I am happy to concede that the match of the year, I feel a bit sorry for Ospreay because I think Ospreay's probably had second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, maybe even seventh. I think Ospreay's list. His match with Pac, by the way, is phenomenal. I had no right to be any good, and they went, no, let's go do an amazing match for the other title. I always forget the name. There's like Continental.
Who knows
whatever.
anymore, Sam?
Oh, whatever. There's too many titles in AEW. There's too many titles in WWE. So we're going to go with the match of the year is going to be Drew McIntyre, CM Punk in Hell in a Cell. We move swiftly on to Feud of the Year, and I think I know who Sam's nominated for this, so I'll go through my nominations for Feuds of the Year, the one who Sam thinks are going to win. But we've also got Cody, Rock, and Roman and Seth. I think has to be thrown in there.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put it in there, but I know it's not his Liv and Rhea. Obviously, that was a really big feud that's probably gone on too long, but it was lots and lots of moments for the course of the year. We have Swerve and Hangman, who I think are going to get really hard done by here. Because quite frankly, I think everything they've done has been, to an extent, money and gold.
Yeah.
And I think it's been the best thing on AEW TV by, quite frankly, a country mile. I've enjoyed everything that Swerve and Hangman have done. But the thing that I've been most excited for, and this is how excited I am for the thing that's won Feud of the Year. I was in Southport with Ellie Mae, just on a little breakout. And we were walking back to the car, and I explained the entire rivalry. Remember, Ellie Mae hates wrestling, not interested in, but I had to get it out about how good CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had been. I think we were up to Clash at that point.
Yes.
How good and how clever it had been. I had to explain every beat. And that's when you know a feud has worked. When you need to turn to someone and go, let me explain this feud for you. And that's how good this has been. And yes, we had a rocky moment in the beginning. The wristband got a little bit further. But then they finished with the match of the thing. SummerSlam match was Seth shouldn't be there. Get out of the way, Seth.
Yes.
I don't like the fact that Seth was there.
You didn't need to be
and then they had a very, very good four corners match.
Yeah,
that doesn't
surprising.
Happen. That doesn't happen.
Does it? No.
I was furious, especially when I heard they were touching the corners. Like, no, just do as a collar. Don't do the touching. And the touching worked. It was fine. I hate it. It's a game of tag, but I think it's safe to say, Sam, that you believe that Feud of the Year is CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
I've waited 10 years for CM Punk to be back in WWE, and he gets this feud, and it is the bomb.
He proves he's one of the best.
He is unbelievable. He still has it, storytelling wise and wrestling wise. And Drew, as we've said, is the wrestler of the year. And maybe I'm being harsh on Swerve and Hangman, but I haven't really seen it. And
Sam, we're talking. I think it's going to win, but we're talking. Let's say Drew and CM Punk is a 10. Let's say Swerve and Hangman's like 9.9. We are talking. It's a Nats wing. They have not been. They've been screwed over here because if this is any other year, this wins hands down because it was phenomenal to me.
But what I'm going to say is, how many rivalries ever have you seen with so many twists?
How many rivalries have you seen where someone was injured for 6 months and they couldn't do any wrestling?
And
that's what's phenomenal.
It was still incredible.
The first match was August. That's 8 months.
The amount of notable events as well. So Drew injures Punk. Right, in kayfabe, but he did injure Punk.
Yeah.
And then you've got
Mania,
where Punk cost Drew. Punk cost Drew the number one contenders match. Punk cost Drew.
Cash in.
That was the cash in first.
Cash in is at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, stops him winning the cash in.
Then I think it's Clash.
Then it's Clash at the Castle. Punk, Drew bloodies Punk
in Chicago.
They've got that whole promo off where Punk goes up to the top, and then they have like some amazing.
My god, that was fantastic as well. Yeah. Running after Punk, trying to find Punk. You see, there's so many things you just forget.
I'm got halfway through.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And they ended it with the match of the year, and that's probably, I think, what's won it for me is the fact that they had the match of the year over the top of it. I think if Hangman and Swerve had a match of the year contender themselves, and I mean a real match of the year contender, not just not just stabbing with syringes and stuff, a proper full-on match, and people might disagree, they might think they had, I think they would have won it. But yeah, I think Feud of the Year has to go to CM Punk, can't believe I'm saying that, in 2024, and Drew McIntyre. We now look at the pay-per-view of the year. I've got a feeling me and you're going to go two different ways here.
I think we are.
My nominations are all in. We were there. It's very hard for me not to go again. WrestleMania 40. I think it's safe to say it has been WWE's pay-per-view of the year. and Revolution. AEW, that's the pay-per-view that Sting retired at. Sam, I know you're going to pick WrestleMania 40.
You know right. Yes, I am.
And I believe the pay-per-view of the year is Revolution from AEW.
Why?
Oh my God, every match just sings. They get every single match. First of all, I really struggle with 2 Night Manias, but it's probably been the best 2. Actually, I think 39's better than 40. If I'm being perfectly honest, 39's better than 40. If you just swapped 40's main event for 39, I think you'd have the perfect WrestleMania card, I think.
Yeah.
It's really tight for me because 40 is the moment and it has the incredible thing, but there is a lot of on there, and also, I can't watch WWE pay-per-views. They just stop giving me advertisement. But there was a lot of dud moments. You think of the Ray tag team match, you think of the Pride versus the Old Testament, Jimmy and Jay. I think there's a lot of duds on there. And even matches that I thought were good didn't go to my expectations. I thought Sammy and Gunther would have been better. It was good, but I thought it would have been better. I liked Rhea and Becky, but I thought that would have been better as well, to be honest. I think it's a good match, but I genuinely was expecting Rhea Charlotte level, and because that was phenomenal. And Revolution, just everything hits, and it ends with the Sting moment, and Darby going through the glass and all that jazz. There's so many amazing matches. What are you thinking?
I'm still with WrestleMania because it's hard to argue with a show that I haven't seen.
Yes, agreed.
So I'm not going to argue too much. I'm going to argue moderately.
Okay.
If you see
so instead of
I'd be like, but can't really counterpoint because I haven't seen both of them, but I feel bad. So I feel wronged, but I'm probably not being. I'll leave it up to you, but I'll sulk for 2 seconds if you don't do what I want you to.
I would like you to put your bottom lip out because I'm going to go for it. And I believe that the pay-per-view generally of the year, if you went from top to bottom, doesn't have as big as moments as WrestleMania 40. Agreed. And doesn't have the biggest, but WrestleMania 40 is the it's WrestleMania. And I generally think I'm going to go with it. I think the pay-per-view of the year is AEW's Revolution. Best turn of the year. Got a few nominations here. I've got Kevin Owens turned off camera.
Yeah.
Getting that's incredible already. It's its own right. We've got Chad Gable. As much as everything that happened afterwards was awful, his turn on Sami Zayn is phenomenal. We've got the New Day officially turning at the 10th year. That's such a late entry coming into the list.
It is.
Technically, we've got The Rock, because he started as a babyface and then turns heel. And we've got Mariah May's heel turn in AEW. And if you go and watch how well we regard that, go check out our bracket series on best moments of AEW. Sam, who have you gone with for best turn of 2024?
I wanted to pick Kevin Owens.
Oh, wow, for not off camera. It's amazing.
Unbelievable. Even just the consequences of his heel turn, the run.
It's been brilliant. Yeah.
I'm going.
By the way, we recorded this before Saturday night's main event. We don't know if he wins. Does he win
really
the title?
want him to.
Does he win the title? Someone tell us in the comments.
Let him win the title. I've gone with The Rock.
Really?
Because, and I can see your face of dismay. However,
because you know what I think it should be.
I think I know what you want it to be, and I get where you're coming from. I think because of the consequences of him turning heel.
And it was phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you think you would get a heel Rock in 2024?
No. Not just a heel Rock. A world-class heel Rock.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Because if we're honest, his babyface work for the past 10 years has been copy and paste.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know exactly what you're going to get. A few catchphrases and a bit of like calling someone a rooty tooty or whatever. You know what I mean? Something like, yeah, exactly. He has been unbelievable, and it changed WrestleMania. It saved WrestleMania from him ultimately, but it saved WrestleMania.
I have saved WrestleMania from yourself. Shut up.
I saved it from him. But I think it's easy to just forget and just take for granted now that we got that.
Yeah.
That WrestleMania build is legendary, and it is because of him. He was the most interesting. He was more interesting than Cody was, and even though Cody was,
no, he was,
and way more interesting than Roman.
And as a heel, he got the babyface over as well.
Yeah, he did the job,
which is what a person's meant to do.
Yes.
The whole point is you're meant to rise the person with you, not slam down. And let's be honest, Rock's famous thing of doing is slamming the people down and him going up. He took Cody with him, and Cody stayed with him.
Yeah,
I think it's Mariah May.
I get you.
And I think that heel turn is one of the most visceral heel turns I've ever seen. It almost gives me nightmares because it's horrible. The shoe to the head, which was done amazingly, bleeding, the crying from Toni Storm, where she was obviously upset while at the same time being physically assaulted. Honestly, I've never seen a heel turn like it before, quite frankly. The Rock's heel turn was forced, and it's the heel work that I think's been great. I think the heel turn, and I know this is just turn, so this includes the stuff afterwards. I think this is how it works. I think Mariah May had the better turn. I think Rock had the better work. So where do you go?
I'm going with the work. I'm going with the work and the consequences for the company.
Can we have a joint
Because if
winner?
he doesn't, then Cody doesn't win the title.
Can we have a joint winner? Because this is the better turn and the better turn work.
Mariah May and the Rock.
Yeah, does it?
It's a weird combo.
Are we going to be that?
Well, this is the first one we've done, so we've got no precedent.
We have no precedent. Do we want to be the people who have joint winners? Because everyone always hates joint winners.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Sam? I'll let you decide, because I forced you to accept Revolution as well as Osprey for best worker. Do you think The Rock's turn is generally better than one that we highly pushed earlier in the week for Mariah May?
Your language is quite leading in a certain direction. Well, it depends how you define it. Is it the turn or is it the work? I'm going to be nice to you, Sam. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a CM Punk to Paul Heyman. I'm going to call him a favour later.
You're going to call
him
a favour?
This is my favourite. Well, later down the line, when I'm being beat up on the street or something,
right.
I'll call him the favour.
You call him the favour.
Because I gave it to Mariah May.
I generally do think it is actually Mariah May. The only thing that makes me go it could be The Rock is Mariah May has done almost nothing.
That's my point.
Since winning the title. And the booking's been really poor. They've actually made the TNT title seem more important. And that's really let me down.
I'm going for the consequences of the turn for the business.
Do you know what? Fine. Okay, I think. Do we agree Mariah May's turn is the better turn?
In the moment.
Do we agree it's the best turn of the year?
Yes, because The Rock's turn in the moment was a bit clumsy with the
got
press
slapped
conference.
in the face,
yeah.
So we're going to say this now. We'll have 2 awards.
Oh, yeah. Too many titles.
But in reality, it's 1 award. The best turn of the year is Mariah May. We now look at worst feud of the year. Not many categories here. I've got 2 from AEW and I've got 1 from the WWE. We've got Jericho and Hook.
Oh no.
The Learning Tree versus Hook.
Right.
Yeah. We've got Cole versus MJF. That has been a complete mess. And we've got the Final Testament versus the Pride.
That's the one I've gone with.
And that's the one I have also nominated, because quite frankly, that made SmackDown really dull for about 3 months and they had a terrible match. And then so much so that no one got over. It destroyed the Profits' momentum. Lashley then left. I don't know what happened there with Triple H and Lashley. Something's gone wrong there. I know he was injured for a little bit, but something's gone wrong there. And Karrion Kross was going nowhere, and no one cared about the feud anyway. And AOP just turned up, but gone nowhere. It was an awful feud.
It was. I'd have taken Jericho Hook now you mentioned it.
I've got Cole and MJF as worst, to be honest. I hate that. I think it's been terrible. I think it's been the worst things on... It was if you go watch our top 10 worst of 2024, I've got Adam Cole returning on AMJF very much in my list. I also have Jericho in my list as well, to be fair. But this was such a bad feud. Like, when we did the worst of, it wasn't so painful, because the reason Jericho was so painful was because it was on telly all the time. And the reason MJF and Adam Cole was because it was on telly all the time. So that was why it was more... Like, the Pride Testament didn't make my top 10 worst of 2024. But in terms of specific feuds and everything they did, this is bad. None of this is good. So we agreed that this is it?
Yeah.
The Final Testament versus... I keep calling them the New Testament and the Old Testament. I just keep calling them Bible things because I don't know the name, because it's a stupid name. The Final Testament versus the Pride, I think is what their name was, is the worst feud of 2024. Just 3 more awards to go. We're now looking at the funniest wrestler of the year. Sam, do you have a funniest moment you would like to say of the year?
It might slightly hint at my winner. I see right through you, Tommaso Ciampa. I bloody loved it. I love someone making someone else break character. R-Truth is the master.
So you've got your R-Truth is your nomination.
Triple H corpsing in his own company, live on television.
I have R-Truth as a nomination, but I also have Carlito.
Yeah, he's been great.
I think Carlito has been really, really funny. So much so that he was so funny that he had to have a thing taken off because people got offended by it.
Yeah.
And Chelsea Green, I have also nominated.
Good shout.
And Sam, you've picked R-Truth. I've picked Chelsea Green.
Really?
R-Truth has really made me laugh, but I tell you what, every time Chelsea comes on, she makes me laugh. I think R-Truth has had hits and misses this year. Wow, that is some rainfall. Hello, Rain. They are telling you that Chelsea Green is funny. The minute I said Chelsea Green and R-Truth was like, well, it's like Chelsea's like Rain.
Yeah, they're telling you it's R-Truth.
The reason I say is I don't think Chelsea Green's been on telly and I've not enjoyed
Agreed.
her more than I have R-Truth. I think R-Truth wins it every other year, but I think Chelsea Green is the winner this year. What do you think?
Well, I can give a special shout to Carlito as well.
Carlito-
Quite a different day. He'd just be there playing video games the entire time.
I think Carlito's had a great year.
He's been
weirdly.
fantastic.
For someone who's done nothing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's almost the in-joke. That he's kind of there, but he just doesn't do it. He just plays video games, he just vibes. He doesn't really know what's going on.
I've really enjoyed his comedy work this year.
Yeah, same.
But it's really tight because we're looking at the two funniest in the WWE right now, which is R-Truth and Chelsea Green. So first of all, actually, I'm asking you, generally, I want to know, let's do a little vote, okay? Little vote. Chelsea Green or R-Truth? Who do you think has been the funniest this year? Are you sticking with R-Truth?
Okay, give me your funniest Chelsea Green moment, see if we can...
The vignettes thing with the dumpster stuff. She literally did an entire skit around it, which is amazing. She just says so many things and messing around with Adam Pearce. Oh, I just think she's great. And she's been really good with Nick Aldis as well. I generally think it's Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green generally has won this, but I also point out that R-Truth has had a great year for comedy as well. I really do. I'm so glad he's back. I love that hot tag at WrestleMania 14.
Awesome, isn't it?
I find that more funny than the Ciampa thing. So our funniest wrestler of the year has gone to Chelsea Green. An interesting award. We've got two now very open awards that we've given. I've not explained what the meanings are to you, and I've not explained the meanings to anyone else. So we'll see what you've actually thought with it. So our first award that we're going for that was very open is the Sam's on Wrestling. What was that award?
I like the way you said that.
What was that?
What was that?
And I think that's the way you have to do it. You're going to go, what was that? So Sam, generally, before I give my nominations, I actually want to know what you have nominated as your what was that of the year.
Still, I just don't understand. I'm not even sure it really happened and if I dreamt it because it's not been referenced. The Rock of Bad Blood. Right?
What's that?
Doing there? He's come to a random October pay-per-view to show up at the end and just say hi, and just say all that stuff. And you assume when he's back, oh, that means he's going to be on SmackDown and he's going to say maybe he's leading. No.
He hasn't been back since.
What was that? I feel like we've been gaslighted into thinking that didn't happen. They've just gone, oh, wait, actually, you're not free on Friday. Right, we'll just leave it then. Come back in January. Come back from Netflix. And he just turned up to spite CM Punk one final time.
Do you know what?
To stop him main eventing.
Do you know what, Sam? I've got a list of 4 things, and I think that's the winner. So I'll just give you what was that?
Go on.
Edge's cage dive.
Oh,
What was that?
Yeah.
Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania.
What was that?
What was that? Cole returning against the heel MJF. What was that? Liv crying on Raw when Dom rejected her the first time, and then just
We've all been there.
what was that? What was that? But however, the winner, because you literally explained it, and the first thing I said was, "What was that?"
What was going on?
And we're going to go with it. Our first ever. What was that? Winner is The Rock appearing at Bad Blood. We come to our final award of the year. This is the Sam's on Wrestling Recognition Award. Okay, again, we haven't actually laid down the parameters of this. We were essentially, what do we want to recognise specifically and to give the most kind of credence? I've actually got 4 nominations for this. Okay, I'll give you the 3 that I've got that are not going to win. Okay, because I've already got my winner. So I'll give you the nominations that aren't going to win. I'll see.
I would argue to the death on mine.
The first one I would like to give a recognition for is the crowd in France.
Yes.
Maybe one of the greatest crowds of all time.
They nearly won for me.
They confused Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's there going, no one has ever sang my theme tune before. I have wrestled with this theme tune since 2008. What? And you're singing? And everyone was like, oh yeah, we could have sang along to that, couldn't we? That French crowd was the camera bouncing with AJ Styles and Cody.
I've never seen that in my life. In a wrestling show, the hard cam bouncing.
I've only seen it in ECW,
because
I think.
It's that loud.
Unbelievable. I thought that was unbelievable. A weird one here, because this was actually the person I had won this award. And you'll realise why they're not winning now. Samantha Irvin. I'm really sad that she's left.
Yeah.
It seemed really messy. The ending as well. It's not particularly clear. I did a video on it where I was like, you always put your best players in the best position. And she didn't want to be in that position, even though I think she's the second greatest announcer of all time. I put her on that level already. I put her below the Fink. I think she's the second greatest of all time. And I generally think she made so many moments. I had her as my winner of recognition of the year. But now that she's gone, I want to recognise her still for her work, and I hope she goes on to be happy and does amazing work with music and stuff like that. I can't see her as a character. I don't know how it would have worked.
Neither. She's not that she is an announcer in terms of she's not.
I just don't see how she'd be a character. You can't.
She
can't be a heel, which is a manager. You can't be a face manager. It doesn't work. It never works. So I wanted to give some recognition because, quite frankly, I thought she was unbelievable, and I'm really sad that she's gone. Really, really, definitely sad. My other one is Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman for demonstrating their absence and how important they actually are. Because when they weren't gone, there was a 3 months, 4 months where it just didn't feel right. And they're back, and it's just like, oh, yeah, they are stars. And I wanted for Paul Heyman for how much he's done with the writing of the Bloodline, Roman Reigns for his performance of the Bloodline, especially through still illness and all that jazz and still having to go through that. So I wanted to recognise Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns for their work, quite frankly, and now it showed it more when they weren't there. I assume I've not mentioned your winner?
You haven't.
My winner for recognition award for the year is the WWE production team.
Good man.
For what they have achieved on camera this year. I cannot believe... Now, I can't work out if they've actually been amazing or we've just had such terrible production work for so long that this feels amazing. It's like being starving and then someone hands you like a Burger King burger.
No, this is a proper Big Mac. What we're getting now.
No, that's my point. It's like my point is, they go, that's but a Burger King burger's fine. It's all right. But everything was I was starving, so it made it seem even better. But some of the stuff they've done this year has been unbelievable. We talked about the Sami Zayn entrance in another video and the long lasting, but we've also got the sit down interviews with Roman and CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Then they got the Cody Rhodes with Roman Reigns in the stadium. Don't forget the build up to WrestleMania 40 when they did the promotional shots with them, the two tag teams, Roman and Rock and Seth and Cody. Bron Breakker's spear and how they got the camera up here. I just think they've done so many things that I'm now forgetting now because honestly, every time there's a production thing, it's just so wonderful to watch. It's interesting.
It's wonderful, and it makes the wrestlers seem like a bigger deal. If you're just tuning in, like you barely watch wrestling and you see Sami Zayn's entrance, you go, "This guy's a hero." Like this guy, like you treat him as such a bigger deal, and you're interested. And I think we don't think about it because we know how much wrestlers sacrifice to be wrestlers.
Yeah,
it is a tremendous sacrifice on their bodies, but also the time that they have to spend away from family and they choose to do it, but it is a tremendous sacrifice. No one really thinks, even of the referees, but also the production team that has to go around with them all the time, that never gets the credit.
Constantly writing or constantly having to think about a direction on a new camera angle or a new something.
All the time, even when things are changing and they get none of the fanfare, none of the credit, they're away from their families just as much as the wrestlers, bar maybe live events.
Yeah.
They are away so much and they are doing all the heavy lifting, the same things all the time. They're carrying these cameras and they are heroes because it sounds cheesy. They make everything possible.
Can't watch it without them.
And they improve the show no end.
And now they've improved it to another level that actually makes something so much more interesting.
And you can tell how passionate they are because they wouldn't do all of this stuff because they don't necessarily need to. They can get away with what WWE were doing in the 2010s, which is the bare minimum, just capturing the shots, cutting everywhere and just doing the same. Oh, Sam, don't. This is a happy moment. That was, it's just so nice to see. It's part of the show now and not in a way that takes away from the show. Yeah,
you're not realising, oh, look at them doing the fancy production shot. And even the backstage stuff with the Cody and Roman it's cheesy, and Roman and CM Punk, it's cheesy, but it's different and it's engaging. If you did it every week, then yeah. But it's like, oh, this is a different shot. It means more, even if it is cheesy. So, quite frankly, I think it has to be said that I don't know what I'm going to put on the screen for the award for WWE production. I'm going to have Sami Zayn looking up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. That's the picture. That's the image I'm going to have. Can we talk about the recognition award for Sam's on Wrestling for 2024 is going to go to the WWE production team. Thank you very much for joining us. What do you think about our awards? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have any awards you would like us to add in the future? Because we are going to do this every single year and we will reference previous winners every
Of course.
single year. We will always give them their props. What do you think? Do you think Sam needs to watch more AEW?
He needs to watch more WWE, but then AEW.
Netflix is coming, Sam. Netflix is coming. And it's on ITV4 AEW. You got it there.
There's a reason it's on ITV4.
Watch ITVX. ITVX is there. That's where they put all the sport, to be fair.
Still.
Even the darts is there.
No, I'm lazy.
Thank you very much for joining us in our week of Christmas. We've still got 2 more days to go. We're here tomorrow for our New Year's Eve special. A bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke. Please come and join us. And I'll also point out that on New Year's Day, we will be doing our predictions for wrestling in 2025. Admittedly, more of a WWE predictions. There's no WWE prediction for 2025. So please come and join us for that. Please join us tomorrow for our New Year's Eve special. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.